In just one day, November 18th, 2015, my mom had blood work done, a lumbar puncture, imagery of her eyes ahead of an ophthalmologist visit, and then a PET CT scan. The results of all of those things would determine whether or not she would be eligible for an experimental trial at a research institute in New York City because she had failed all traditional treatment methods for non-Hodgkin lymphoma, which had metastasized to her brain and spinal cord. So if she was not eligible for this trial, then she would certainly die from the cancer, though even with the trial, we didn't know if she would live either. So needless to say, this was a high stakes day. However, for all the doctors and nurses and technicians and front desk associates that we interacted with throughout the day, it was just another shift at work for them. My mom was just another patient to see. In fact, the doctor who does her lumbar puncture specifically mentions that she sees many people every day for lumbar punctures, but in doing so, she's also emphasizing the fact that my mom is just one of many, that she will just be completely forgotten when the doctor steps out of the room. It's just how things work in these big research institutes. The contrast between the average day for a medical provider and the extraordinary day of someone who's going through a medical crisis can cause a lot of issues and disconnect. And I mentioned this in a previous video that the heightened emotions that individuals who are going through a medical crisis experience, all the anxiety, all the stress, can inform the medical care they receive because they may be behaving in a way that is off-putting to medical providers who are just trying to take care of the tasks in front of them. And though medical providers would never sacrifice the care just based on the behavior of a patient, inherently chill patients will end up getting better care because the medical providers will want to gravitate towards them. I'm friends with enough doctors to know that they are acutely aware of this dichotomy between their lived experiences and the lived experience of the individuals who they are treating, and how they can be very different and can be operating on very different frequencies. And most of the times, doctors do bring a lot of sympathy and empathy to the table every day when they are showing up to work. But ultimately, doctors are humans too. They have their own ups and downs in life. They have their own drama. They may be going through their own medical crises. And just like anyone who shows up to a desk job, they bring that into work with them, and it informs the way that they interact with other people. So on those days when they may be going through their own shit, then it's harder for them to be there and be sympathetic and be aware of the circumstances that their patients are going through, and to really think about them as an individual who may be contending with a terminal illness versus just another patient to see that day. In my experience, the medical support staff like scan technicians or phlebotomists are the ones who are most likely to lose sight of the individuals with whom they are helping during that day and the reasons why they might be in the medical facility that they are working at, because there's no way to build a personal connection with them. It's not like they are doctors and getting to know the patient's history. So for that reason, they are just trying to get people in and out as quickly as possible. And they're not as aware of the fact that this might be a really big moment for this individual. They may be finding out if they are going to be eligible for an experimental trial. They also may be under immense stress or in physical pain. But to the medical support staff, they know they have 15 other people they need to see that day, and the biggest thing for them is getting this person in and out as efficiently as possible and trying to mitigate any pain that they may be in. But really their number one priority is just getting their job done. Obviously, it is the responsibility of medical professionals to be empathetic and to treat patients with kindness, decency, and respect. However, as an individual who is going through a medical crisis or is a caregiver for a loved one who is going through a medical crisis, you cannot control how a medical professional shows up to work the day that you have an appointment with them. What you can control are your expectations. So I'm not really talking about your relationship and appointments with primary care physicians or specialty care physicians. I'm talking about those experiences when you are having blood work drawn or go to a scan or even have a lumbar puncture in the case of my mom. Then you have to go into those settings not expecting the red carpet to be rolled out for you. Approach those appointments like you are walking into a Chipotle to get a burrito bowl. You will be ushered down a line, you will have the services rendered, and at the end of it, you will walk away with the thing that needed to be accomplished and nothing more, nothing less. If you go into those settings with those expectations, you will rarely be let down in what is a objectively a dehumanizing experience. In the next video I'll be releasing on November 21st, I'll be talking about withholding your personal opinions from a loved one who is trying to make a major decision. So hit subscribe, leave any questions in the comments. The link to my book, Losing Linda May, A Cancer Caregiving Memoir, is in the description, and I will see you all then.